They laughed when you started. They called your dreams unrealistic. They said you've changed, as if change wasn't the whole point. But what they didn't see was what you were building in the dark. What they didn't understand was the power of silence. Because when you stop trying to prove them wrong and start focusing on proving yourself right, that's when the game changes. See, the real glow up isn't loud. It's quiet. It's not posted, not talked about. It's done behind closed doors, in early mornings, in sleepless nights, in painful solitude. And when it finally shows up, it shocks everyone. Silence is often misunderstood. Many see it as weakness, as passivity, as inaction. But in truth, silence is one of the most powerful tools you can possess when you're focused on your growth. It's not about hiding. It's about building without interruption. It's about cultivating something real, something lasting, something that doesn't need applause to be valid. When you embrace silence as a strategy, you step into a space of inner control. You begin to value your process more than the perception others have of it. You learn to love the grind without the spotlight. And that's where true strength is born. In a world addicted to sharing every detail of life, choosing silence is a rebellion. Everyone wants to show their progress, prove they're working, prove they're doing something worthy. Social media thrives on this need for validation, this constant loop of look at me. But when you go quiet, not because you have nothing going on, but because you have too much to protect, something shifts. You stop trying to impress and you start to build, not for the world, but for yourself. You begin to see how much noise actually distracts you, how much of your energy goes into explaining instead of executing. People love to talk about their goals. They make announcements. I'm going to start working out. I'm launching something big. Watch what I do next. But most of those words fade. They don't get followed with action. Because speaking gives a false sense of accomplishment. It tricks the brain into feeling like progress is being made, when in reality, nothing has changed. Silence removes that illusion. When you go silent, it's just you and the work, no audience, no applause, just execution. And that's where transformation actually begins. Using silence as a strategy also gives you the gift of focus. When you stop performing for people, you stop letting their opinions influence your pace. You're no longer worried about who's watching, who's judging, who's clapping. You move from a place of alignment, not reaction. You start tuning into your inner voice, the one that knows your pace, your purpose, your path. That voice gets louder when the outside world gets quieter. And with that clarity, you begin to move differently. You make sharper decisions. You cut out what doesn't serve you. You focus not just on doing more, but on doing what matters. Silence is also a shield. When you're quiet, people can't get in your head as easily. They can't critique what they don't see. They can't sabotage what they don't know exists. And you learn the art of protecting your momentum. You understand that not everyone needs access to your process. Because not everyone is rooting for you, some people are only waiting for an update so they can secretly hope you fail. When you go quiet, you remove their access. You build in peace. And when the results arrive, there's nothing left to say, because the outcome speaks volumes that words never could. Another powerful thing silence does is remove pressure. When you're always telling people what you're doing, what you plan to accomplish, it creates invisible expectations. You feel like you need to deliver on what you promised, not because it aligns with you, but because people are watching. That kind of pressure kills creativity and flow. But when you keep your plans private, you're free to change, evolve, pivot. You're not boxed in by anyone else's timeline. You move with authenticity instead of obligation. That freedom gives your growth more depth and more power. The most dangerous person in the room isn't the one shouting, it's the one observing, the one listening, the one planning. That person is 10 steps ahead before anyone even notices they're in the race. That's what silence does. It lets you build momentum without being noticed, so that when the impact finally comes, it feels like a shock to everyone who wasn't paying attention. They won't know where it came from, but you will. You'll know it came from the countless hours no one saw, the sacrifices no one clapped for, the commitment you made when nobody was watching. That's the true advantage of silence. Seeking validation is one of the fastest ways to lose yourself. It's subtle, almost invisible at first. You begin to adjust your decisions based on how others might react. You shape your actions, your voice, even your appearance based on who might be watching. It becomes a cycle. You do something good, but it doesn't feel real until someone else acknowledges it. And that's where you lose your power, because now your worth isn't coming from within. It's coming from applause. And applause fades, opinions change, people forget. If your confidence is built on what others think of you, it will crumble the moment they stop paying attention. There is a deep freedom that comes when you stop needing others to believe in you. When you no longer perform for the approval of the crowd, you start moving with authenticity. You realize that your journey isn't meant to make sense to everyone. It's not supposed to be accepted, celebrated, or even understood by others. It's yours. And once you embrace that, everything about your path becomes clearer. You stop asking for permission to be great. You stop over-explaining why you're doing things differently. You stop apologizing for putting yourself first. And in doing so, you begin to reclaim your power. Most people don't even realize how much of their identity is shaped by what others think. From a young age, we're trained to seek praise. In school, we work for grades. At home, we strive for approval. Online, we chase likes, followers, and comments. We're taught that recognition equals worth. But what happens when recognition doesn't come? What happens when no one notices your efforts, your growth, your pain? If your self-worth is tied to external praise, you'll constantly feel like you're not enough. That's why validation from others is a trap. It feels good in the moment, but it's never permanent. It's conditional, fragile, and inconsistent. True self-compassion means you recognize your own growth even when no one else does. You celebrate your small wins, your silent victories, the battles you fight in the dark. You no longer need someone to tell you you're doing great because you know. You don't wait for someone to believe in you because you believe in you. And that belief, that inner fire, is what keeps you going when the crowd is silent. When you stop looking outward for validation, you start looking inward for direction. You trust your instincts, you honor your truth, you listen to your soul, not the noise. This kind of self-trust creates resilience because people will doubt you, they'll question your choices, they'll mock your silence, your focus, your discipline. And if you're dependent on their approval, their doubt will shake you. But when you're rooted in self-questionation, their words can't reach you, you're too grounded in your own truth. Their confusion doesn't distract you. Their judgment doesn't slow you down. You become unshakable, not because you never feel doubt, but because your belief in yourself is louder than the doubt of the world. Another trap of seeking validation is that it makes you a people pleaser. You say yes when you mean no. You overextend yourself. You tolerate things that drain you because you're afraid of being disliked. But when you validate yourself, you don't need to be liked, you need to be aligned. You begin to choose peace over popularity, purpose over performance. You start setting boundaries. You start saying no to things that don't match your mission. You walk away from spaces that dim your light, no matter how familiar or comfortable they are, and in that space, your power grows. You also realize that not everyone is supposed to support you. Not everyone is supposed to cheer you on, and that's okay, because the goal isn't to be accepted by the world. The goal is to become the best version of yourself, regardless of who claps. When you validate yourself, you no longer wait to feel worthy. You declare it, you own it, you embody it, and everything about the way you move begins to shift. You start showing up differently, not louder, but stronger, not to impress, but to express. You become more concerned with alignment than applause. And that's when your life starts to transform. Protecting your energy is one of the most underrated yet essential parts of becoming your best self. It's not just about cutting people off or avoiding negative environments. It's about being deeply intentional with what you allow into your mental, emotional, and spiritual space. Every conversation you have, every piece of content you consume, every environment you step into is either fueling you or draining you. And most people never stop to audit that. They run on autopilot, unaware that they're leaking energy into distractions, into meaningless drama, into opinions that don't matter, into habits that keep them stuck. When you start guarding your energy like it's sacred, your life begins to change in powerful ways. There's a certain kind of peace that comes from not reacting to everything. Not every comment deserves your attention. Not every opinion needs a response. Not every invitation should be accepted. When you become selective about what you engage with, you protect your focus, and focus is everything when you're trying to build something meaningful. You begin to realize how many things used to pull you off course. You used to get triggered by small things, involved in unnecessary arguments, or distracted by the noise around you. But the moment you step back and evaluate where your energy is going, you start to reclaim control over your life. One of the most dangerous habits we fall into is trying to be everything for everyone. You want to be liked, respected, understood. You say yes to things that drain you. You entertain conversations that don't serve you. You give time to people who only take, never pour back in. And you end up feeling exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected from your purpose. Protecting your energy means learning to say no without guilt. It means knowing your limits and not apologizing for them. It means honoring your peace more than you honor people's expectations of you. Discipline plays a massive role in this too, because it takes discipline to walk away from comfort. It takes discipline to say no to a night out so you can rest. It takes discipline to wake up early, to stick to your routine, to prioritize self-care. Most people burn out not because they're weak, but because they've never learned how to manage their energy. They spend their days reacting instead of creating. They live in survival mode instead of stepping into their power. But once you become disciplined about your energy, everything shifts. You no longer give your time to things that don't build you. You stop chasing validation and start chasing growth. You don't argue with people committed to misunderstanding you. You don't try to prove yourself to anyone who isn't even listening. And it's not just about other people, it's about you too. Your own thoughts can either energize or drain you. The way you talk to yourself matters. The standards you hold yourself to matter. You have to protect your mind from your own self-sabotage, from the voice that tells you you're not doing enough, not good enough, not fast enough. Protecting your energy means choosing thoughts that empower you, not diminish you. It means speaking to yourself with kindness, even when you're correcting yourself. It means forgiving your past and focusing on progress, not perfection. There's a quiet confidence that begins to grow inside you when you're in control of your energy. You're not scattered. You're not constantly drained. You become more calm, more present, more intentional. You begin to attract better opportunities, healthier relationships, and deeper peace, not because life suddenly got easier, but because you got clearer. You began choosing yourself. You stopped giving power to things that don't deserve your energy. And you started aligning your actions with your highest self. The truth is, energy is currency. You only have so much of it every day. You can either spend it wisely and invest it into your growth, or you can waste it and stay stuck in cycles that lead nowhere. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they waste their energy. They exhaust themselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But when you protect your energy, you gain clarity, you gain direction, you gain momentum, and the world starts to feel different, not because the world changed, but because you did. You changed the way you move through it, and that's everything. Consistency is the silent force that separates the dreamers from the doers. It's the unsung hero of all success stories. Many people think that success comes from one big moment of brilliance, one groundbreaking idea, or one miraculous breakthrough. But the truth is far more humbling. Success is built in the small daily decisions, in the moments when no one is watching, in the countless times you show up when you'd rather stay in bed. Consistency with purpose doesn't just change the outcome, it transforms you as a person, shaping your character, your discipline, and your mindset. When you commit to a path of consistency, you stop focusing on the immediate results. You stop measuring success in terms of quick wins or external recognition. Instead, you start focusing on the process itself. You become obsessed with improvement, with progress, with growth. No matter how small or invisible it may seem at times, every step forward, no matter how small, builds upon the last. And with each step, you move closer to the person you are meant to become. But it takes a certain level of commitment and faith in the journey itself. There will be times when it feels like nothing is happening, when your efforts seem unnoticed and your progress feels slow. But consistency is about trusting that every action, no matter how insignificant it may appear, is contributing to the bigger picture. One of the hardest things about consistency is staying the course when things get tough. When you encounter obstacles or face setbacks, it's easy to lose sight of why you started. It's easy to throw in the towel and walk away. But consistency is about showing up regardless of the circumstances. It's about pushing through the hard days, knowing that the work you put in today will pay off in the future. It's about having the mental fortitude to keep going when everything around you screams to quit. It's about understanding that the struggle is part of the journey and that the more you endure, the stronger you become. To be consistent, you also have to develop the discipline to prioritize the things that matter. You can't be consistent at everything. The key is to focus on the things that align with your purpose. When you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, your actions become more intentional. You know where to direct your energy and where to say no. You stop wasting time on things that don't contribute to your growth, and you put all your effort into the areas that move you closer to your goals. This is where consistency becomes most powerful. It's not just about showing up every day. It's about showing up in the right way. It's about being laser focused on what truly matters and being unwavering in your commitment to those things. Consistency also requires patience. In a world where instant gratification is the norm, patience feels almost counterintuitive. We're conditioned to expect quick results, but true growth doesn't happen overnight. It's built over time. You have to be patient with yourself, patient with the process, and patient with the timing of everything. Even when progress feels slow or non-existent, you have to trust that your efforts are laying the foundation for something greater. Consistency is the long game, and the results may not show up as quickly as you'd like, but if you keep pushing forward, they will eventually come. Another aspect of consistency with purpose is the need for self-accountability. No one is going to hold you to your word if you don't hold yourself accountable. This means setting clear goals, creating a plan, and sticking to it. It's easy to get distracted or to let life's chaos derail your efforts. But when you are accountable to yourself, you don't allow excuses to take over. You become your own biggest motivator, your own biggest critic, and your own biggest supporter. Accountability helps you stay on track and ensures that you are consistently putting in the effort required to succeed. Over time, consistency becomes a habit, and habits create results. The more consistently you show up, the more ingrained your actions become. They become part of who you are, not something you have to force. You begin to move through life with purpose, with focus, with a sense of direction. You don't need to be reminded to do the work because the work has already become a part of your routine. And with that routine comes success, quiet, persistent, inevitable success that is the result of consistent, purposeful effort. What most people don't understand about consistency is that it's not always glamorous. It's not always exciting. It's often mundane. It's in the repeated actions, the daily grind, the commitment to showing up, even when you don't feel like it. But this is where the magic happens. It's where the true transformation occurs, because it's in the moments of routine, in the work that feels unnoticed, that real change is forged. Consistency with purpose is the foundation of every lasting achievement. It doesn't seek shortcuts. It doesn't rely on luck. It builds, slowly but surely, into something extraordinary. Respect begins with self-respect. You can't expect others to value you if you don't value yourself first. The way you see yourself, the standards you set for yourself, and the boundaries you create are all directly reflected in how the world treats you. When you truly respect yourself, you stop tolerating things that diminish your worth. You stop engaging in relationships, environments, and situations that make you feel small, unimportant, or You begin to understand that you are worthy of the best and that you have the power to command respect simply by showing up with confidence, integrity, and self-assurance. Self-respect isn't about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing your own value and not letting anyone treat you as less than that. It's about having enough self-love to walk away from things that do not align with your growth or your peace. When you respect yourself, you know what you deserve, and you hold others to the same standard. This means you no longer settle for superficial relationships or empty promises. You become selective about who you allow into your life, who gets access to your time and energy. And the more you respect yourself, the more others will follow suit. When you respect yourself, you start saying no to things that don't serve you. You stop saying yes out of obligation or fear of disappointing someone. You stop overextending yourself for people who don't appreciate your efforts. Respecting yourself means understanding your worth and valuing your time. It's about choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and growth over stagnation. You no longer feel guilty for prioritizing your needs, your goals, and your well-being. You understand that by putting yourself first, you're better equipped to help others and show up in your best form. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and by respecting yourself, you ensure you are always filled to the brim with the energy, passion, and love you need to give to the world. Self-respect also means holding yourself accountable to your own standards. It means not letting yourself slip into complacency or allow mediocrity to become acceptable. When you respect yourself, you hold yourself to a higher standard. You don't make excuses. You don't settle for less than you know you're capable of. If you set a goal, you pursue it with everything you have. If you make a promise, you keep it. Your word becomes sacred because you respect it. You don't let distractions, laziness, or fear derail your progress. Instead, you show up every day knowing that your actions are a reflection of your self-respect. The world often mirrors how we treat ourselves. If you constantly allow others to disrespect you, to take advantage of your kindness, or to walk all over your boundaries, you are essentially telling the world that it's okay to treat you this way. But when you demand respect, when you show people how to treat you by first treating yourself with honor and dignity, you set a powerful example. Others begin to take notice. They begin to see that you are not someone who tolerates disrespect or mediocrity. They begin to understand that your time, energy, and presence are valuable, and they will either rise to meet your standards or fall away. The truth is, when you respect yourself, you stop seeking validation from others. You don't need external approval to feel worthy. Your self-respect is not contingent on anyone else's opinion of you. You know who you are, and that is enough. This inner strength allows you to stand firm in your beliefs, your values, and your decisions, no matter what anyone else thinks. You no longer shrink yourself to fit into the mold others expect of you. You become unapologetically you. And in doing so, you naturally attract the respect you deserve. People will gravitate toward your energy, your confidence, and your sense of self-worth. They will recognize the value you bring to the table and treat you accordingly. Respecting yourself is also about knowing when to walk away. There will be times in your life when you find yourself in situations or relationships that no longer serve you. Perhaps you're dealing with people who undermine your efforts, belittle your dreams, or dismiss your boundaries. When you respect yourself, you have the courage to let go of these situations. You don't allow fear or guilt to keep you in toxic environments. You understand that your peace and growth are more important than holding on to something that isn't meant for you. Walking away doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've honored your worth and you've made space for something better. Self-respect doesn't just improve the way others treat you, it also improves the way you treat yourself. You begin to show up for yourself in ways that nurture your mind, body, and spirit. You prioritize your health, your dreams, and your goals. You invest in your growth, your education, and your future. You stop sabotaging yourself with negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, and self-doubt. Instead, you speak kindly to yourself. You give yourself the grace to make mistakes, but you also push yourself to learn and grow. You understand that respect starts with self-compassion, and with this, you begin to build an unshakable foundation of self-worth that no one can take from you. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world, and it shapes everything about your experience. The way you think directly influences how you act, how you respond to challenges, and how you perceive opportunities. In life, the difference between success and failure is often not determined by skill, talent, or resources, but by mindset, a growth mindset. The belief that you can learn, evolve, and improve is the foundation upon which success is built. Without the right mindset, even the most talented individuals can find themselves stuck in self-doubt, fear, and complacency. But with the right mindset, seemingly impossible challenges become opportunities for growth and transformation. A growth mindset is rooted in the understanding that intelligence, abilities, and success are not fixed traits. They are developed over time through effort, learning, and persistence. When you adopt this mindset, you stop seeing failures as a reflection of your limitations. Instead, you see them as stepping stones toward mastery. Every setback becomes a lesson, every mistake a chance to refine your skills and approach. The person with a growth mindset understands that they are not defined by their past or their current circumstances. They are defined by their willingness to keep moving forward, to keep learning, and to keep improving. On the other hand, a fixed mindset, the belief that your abilities and intelligence are static, keeps you trapped in a cycle of fear and limitation. With a fixed mindset, you avoid challenges because you're afraid of failing. You avoid trying new things because you fear you're not good enough. You may even begin to believe that success is for a select few and that you are somehow not part of that group. This kind of thinking can paralyze you, keeping you stuck in the same place, unable to reach your true potential. But the key to breaking free is changing your mindset and embracing the belief that you can improve, adapt, and grow. The way you approach problems is another reflection of your mindset. If you see obstacles as insurmountable, as proof that you're not cut out for success, you'll be more likely to give up before you even try. But if you see obstacles as opportunities to challenge yourself, to grow stronger and more skilled, then you'll find a way to move past them. The person with a growth mindset understands that challenges are not roadblocks. They are part of the journey. They are the tests that build your resilience, your creativity, and your capacity to overcome adversity. With each obstacle you face, you become more equipped to handle the next one, and this progress is what propels you forward. A powerful aspect of a growth mindset is its ability to keep you open to feedback. People with a growth mindset seek out constructive criticism and use it as a tool for improvement. They are not defensive about their mistakes because they understand that no one is perfect and that feedback is essential for growth. When you are open to feedback, you can see your blind spots, refine your approach, and continue to improve. This willingness to learn and grow allows you to adapt to new situations, stay innovative, and keep progressing toward your goals. In contrast, those with a fixed mindset often avoid feedback, viewing it as a personal attack or confirmation that they're not good enough. They may become defensive or disengaged when faced with criticism because they see it as a reflection of their inherent inability to succeed. This lack of openness to feedback creates a barrier to growth as it keeps them from learning from their mistakes and evolving. But when you cultivate a growth mindset, you embrace feedback knowing that it is a valuable resource for your personal development. Another important aspect of a growth mindset is resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and no path to success is without its challenges. The key to overcoming these challenges is resilience. The ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. People with a growth mindset understand that failure is not the end. It's simply part of the process. They are not afraid to fail because they know that each failure brings them one step closer to their goal. They embrace failure as a necessary part of the learning curve, using it to fuel their determination and drive. Resilience also involves learning how to persevere when things get tough. It's easy to stay motivated when everything is going smoothly, but true strength is revealed when you continue pushing forward in the face of adversity. Those with a growth mindset develop the mental toughness to stay focused on their goals even when the road is rough. They don't let setbacks define them, and they don't let obstacles stop them. Instead, they use them as fuel to keep going, knowing that each challenge they face is an opportunity for growth. The growth mindset also fosters a sense of ownership over your life. You stop blaming external factors for your struggles, and instead, you take responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your outcomes. You realize that your life is shaped by your choices and that you have the power to create change at any moment. When you adopt this mindset, you stop waiting for things to improve or for circumstances to change. You take control, actively working toward the life you want to create. This sense of ownership gives you the confidence to make bold moves, Take risks and pursue your dreams without hesitation. In summary, your mindset is the cornerstone of everything you do. A growth mindset allows you to embrace challenges, learn from failure, seek feedback, and build resilience. It empowers you to take control of your life and pursue your goals with confidence. When you shift your mindset from fixed to growth, you unlock your true potential and open the door to endless possibilities. The world is full of opportunities, but without the right mindset, you'll miss them. Cultivating a growth mindset is the key to unlocking your greatness and living a life of purpose, fulfillment, and success. Taking responsibility for your actions is one of the most powerful things you can do to change the course of your life. It means acknowledging that the outcomes in your life are not solely the result of external circumstances, but are influenced by the decisions you make, the choices you take, and the way you respond to situations. When you take full responsibility, you stop blaming others or waiting for external factors to change. You become the author of your own story, and in doing so, you empower yourself to take control of your future. At its core, responsibility means owning both your successes and your failures. Many people are quick to take credit for their wins, but when it comes to their losses, they look for someone or something to blame. This is a natural response. It's easier to deflect responsibility and point to external factors than to face the hard truth about our own role in our circumstance. But this mindset leaves you stuck in a cycle of powerlessness. When you refuse to take responsibility for your failures, you also refuse to learn from them. You can't grow if you're constantly shifting the blame or making excuses. By taking responsibility, you open the door to growth because you admit that you have the power to change and improve. When you take responsibility for your actions, you also take control of your emotions. It's easy to react impulsively to situations, especially when things don't go your way. But taking responsibility means not allowing external circumstances to dictate how you feel or how you act. It means recognizing that you have a choice in how you respond to any given situation. It means understanding that while you can't control the actions of others, you can control your own responses. This ability to take responsibility for your emotional state empowers you to maintain peace and calm regardless of the chaos around you. The willingness to take responsibility also encourages a mindset of continuous improvement. You stop seeing challenges or failures as setbacks and begin to view them as opportunities for growth. Instead of blaming others or the situation, you ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? This shift in thinking turns obstacles into lessons, and with each lesson, you become more equipped to face the next challenge with greater wisdom and strength. Taking responsibility also involves owning your mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable. They are part of the human experience, but how you respond to them defines your character. If you choose to ignore or deny your mistakes, you close yourself off from valuable lessons and growth. But if you take responsibility for them, you open yourself up to learning and self-improvement. Owning your mistakes doesn't mean beating yourself up over them. It means acknowledging them, understanding what went wrong, and using that knowledge to avoid repeating them in the future. One of the most powerful aspects of taking responsibility is that it breeds self-confidence. When you take responsibility for your actions, you stop relying on the approval or validation of others. You stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're doing well or to praise you for your efforts. Instead, you gain confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes your way because you know that you can rely on yourself to make decisions, take action, and own the outcomes. This self-confidence becomes a foundation upon which you can build your dreams, knowing that you have the strength and resilience to overcome any challenges that may arise. Additionally, taking responsibility creates stronger relationships. When you consistently own your actions, it builds trust with others. People respect individuals who take responsibility for their mistakes and who don't shy away from their obligations. This accountability encourages mutual respect in both personal and professional relationships. It also fosters an environment of open communication where others feel safe to take responsibility for their actions as well. It's this kind of honesty and integrity that strengthens the bonds between people and encourages personal growth within relationships. When you fail to take responsibility, you give away your power. By blaming others, you relinquish control over your life and give external circumstances the power to dictate your future. You place yourself at the mercy of things you cannot control. But by taking responsibility, you reclaim that power. You take ownership of your decisions, your actions, and your life. And with that ownership comes the freedom to make choices that align with your values, goals, and desires. Taking responsibility is also an essential part of personal development. When you take full responsibility for your life, you acknowledge that the person you are today is the result of the choices you've made up to this point. This realization may be uncomfortable, especially if you're not where you want to be in life, but it's also liberating. It means that you have the power to change. If your current situation isn't where you want it to be, you have the ability to make different choices that will lead you to a better future. The moment you take responsibility is the moment you stop waiting for circumstances to change and start making the changes yourself. Taking responsibility for your actions means becoming a person of integrity and accountability. It means showing up every day, not making excuses, and staying true to your word. It means owning your journey and trusting that every step you take, no matter how challenging, is part of your growth. When you take responsibility, you stop being a passive observer in your own life and become an active participant, fully engaged in the process of creating the future you desire. This is where true empowerment lies, knowing that you have the strength and the ability to shape your life according to your vision. When you focus on your own growth, you shift your attention away from comparing yourself to others. The habit of comparison is one of the biggest obstacles to personal progress. We live in a world where it's easy to get caught up in measuring our worth based on the successes of those around us. Whether it's through social media, friends, or colleagues, there's a constant stream of images, stories, and achievements that can make you feel like you're falling behind or not doing enough. But focusing on your own growth means letting go of this external measure of success and turning your attention inward. The problem with comparison is that it's never a fair contest. You only see the highlights of other people's lives, their best moments, their greatest successes, their most polished achievements. What you don't see are their struggles, their failures, or the setbacks they've encountered along the way. When you compare yourself to others, you're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. This is not only unfair to you, but also detrimental to your growth because it shifts your focus from your own journey to someone else's. Focusing on your own growth means understanding that your journey is unique. What works for someone else might not work for you, and their path to success might look completely different from yours. We all have different timelines, different challenges, and different strengths. Just because someone else appears to be further ahead doesn't mean that you are behind. It simply means that they are on a different path, and your journey will unfold in its own time. By focusing on your own growth, you stop wasting energy on comparisons and start investing in the actions that will lead you toward your goals. This kind of focus allows you to stay present in your own life and appreciate the progress you're making, no matter how small it might seem. Every step forward is a victory, and focusing on your growth allows you to see those victories clearly. It prevents you from getting bogged down in the noise of what others are doing, which can lead to feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, or frustration. When you measure your success against someone else's, it becomes easy to forget all the progress you've made and the challenges you've overcome. By shifting your focus back to your own growth, you give yourself the opportunity to celebrate your achievements, no matter how big or small they might be. Furthermore, focusing on your own growth allows you to set your own standards and benchmarks for success. When you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you adopt their definition of success, which may not align with your values or goals. You might find yourself chasing someone else's dreams, following a path that's not true to who you are, simply because you think it's what you're supposed to do. But when you focus on your own growth, you get to define what success means to you. You start setting goals based on your own values, desires, and purpose. This gives you clarity and direction as you are no longer distracted by the achievements or opinions of others. Another crucial aspect of focusing on your own growth is that it helps you cultivate self-compassion. In a world where comparison is the norm, it's easy to become overly critical of yourself when you feel like you're not measuring up. But when you focus on your own development, you become more patient and understanding with yourself. You recognize that growth takes time, and it's okay to not have everything figured out right away. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and encouragement that you would offer a friend who is struggling. Instead of berating yourself for not being further along, you acknowledge the progress you've made and encourage yourself to keep going. Focusing on your growth also means embracing the power of consistency. It's easy to become discouraged when you're not seeing immediate results, but real progress comes from showing up every day, doing the work, and staying committed to your journey. When you compare yourself to others, it's easy to overlook the fact that their success didn't happen overnight. It was the result of consistent effort, hard work, and persistence. By focusing on your own growth, you commit to the long-term process of improvement, knowing that with each day of focused effort, you're moving closer to your goals. You learn to value the process just as much as the outcome, recognizing that growth is not just about reaching a destination, but about the person you become along the way. Furthermore, focusing on your own growth allows you to identify and break free from limiting beliefs. So often, we hold ourselves back because we believe that others are more capable or more deserving of success than we are. We tell ourselves stories about why we're not good enough, smart enough, or talented enough. But when you focus on your growth, you challenge these limiting beliefs. You begin to see that you are just as capable as anyone else and that your unique journey is valid. You recognize that success is not reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone who is willing to put in the work, learn from their mistakes, and keep moving forward. Finally, when you focus on your own growth, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop measuring your worth based on how others perceive you or how they respond to your achievements. Instead, you learn to validate yourself. You know that your value is not dependent on external approval. Your worth comes from within, from the confidence you build through your own growth, from the sense of accomplishment you feel when you reach a goal, and from the pride you take in knowing that you're becoming the best version of yourself. Focusing on your own growth is the key to building a life that is meaningful, fulfilling, and uniquely yours. It enables you to stop comparing yourself to others and start measuring your progress against your own potential. This mindset shift frees you from the toxic cycle of competition and comparison and allows you to embrace the beauty of your own journey. As you grow, you'll realize that the only competition that matters is the person you were yesterday. By focusing on yourself, you unlock the ability to shock the world with what you can achieve. Success in its truest form is not simply about achieving external milestones or reaching specific goals. It's about creating a life that feels deeply meaningful, purposeful, and fulfilling. When you take the time to understand your why, the deeper purpose behind your actions, you infuse your life with clarity and direction. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle of chasing after external rewards, only to find that once you've reached those goals, they don't bring the fulfillment you expected. Understanding your why anchors you to a sense of deeper meaning and guides you through the inevitable ups and downs that come with pursuing your dreams. The why you cultivate is the core of your motivations, the reason you wake up every morning with energy and excitement, the force that drives you through challenges and obstacles. It's the understanding that what you're doing is bigger than just the outcome. It's about contributing to something greater than yourself, whether that's a vision, a mission, or a cause. When you have a clear understanding of your why, it helps you navigate the difficult times with resilience because you know that your journey is aligned with your deepest values. You're no longer just chasing success for the sake of success, but you're working toward a purpose that feels meaningful and aligned with who you truly are. One of the most powerful aspects of understanding your why is that it provides you with clarity in moments of doubt. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way, and there will be times when the path feels unclear. In these moments, it's easy to get discouraged, questioning whether the effort is worth it. But when you have a clear sense of your purpose, you can find the strength to push through those moments of uncertainty. Your why acts as your compass, helping you stay true to your path even when obstacles seem insurmountable. It provides you with the perspective that failure is not the end. It's simply part of the process of learning and growing toward your greater purpose. In addition to providing clarity in difficult moments, your why fuels your passion and motivation. When you're connected to a deeper purpose, the work you do feels more meaningful. You're no longer just going through the motions or chasing after arbitrary goals. Instead, each task becomes a step in the direction of something larger, something that deeply resonates with who you are. This passion becomes a powerful force that propels you forward, giving you the energy to continue pursuing your dreams even when the road gets tough. When your why is strong, it ignites a sense of purpose that cannot be easily extinguished by external circumstances. The understanding of your why also shapes your decisions and action. It acts as a filter through which you evaluate opportunities, relationships, and challenges. When you know what you stand for and why you do what you do, it becomes easier to make choices that align with your goals and values. For example, when faced with a difficult decision, you can ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? Will this bring me closer to fulfilling my deeper mission? When you operate with this level of awareness, you're able to make decisions that move you toward your vision with intention and clarity. Moreover, having a clear sense of your why allows you to stay grounded in the face of external pressures and societal expectations. In a world that often pushes us to pursue external markers of success, money, status, and approval, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to you. The key to remaining authentic in the face of these pressures is by staying connected to your deeper purpose. Your why keeps you focused on what truly matters, reminding you that success is not measured by other people's standards, but by the sense of fulfillment and alignment you feel in your own life. This level of authenticity is liberating because it allows you to let go of the need for external validation and instead focus on living according to your own values and vision. Furthermore, understanding your why encourages you to step into your full potential. When you know your purpose, you naturally begin to expand your vision of what's possible for your life. You begin to take bold actions because you know that your work is aligned with something meaningful. Your sense of purpose pushes you to grow, to take risks, and to pursue your dreams with confidence. It helps you overcome fear and self-doubt because you understand that the work you're doing is not just for you. It's part of a greater purpose, and the world needs what you have to offer. This understanding propels you toward greatness because it gives you the confidence to step into your full potential and embrace the challenges that come with growth. Additionally, understanding your why helps you stay focused on long-term goals instead of short-term rewards. In a world that values instant gratification, it can be tempting to chase after quick fixes and immediate outcomes. However, lasting success requires patience, persistence, and a commitment to the long-term journey. When you are deeply connected to your why, you are able to focus on the bigger picture rather than getting distracted by short-term results. You understand that success doesn't happen overnight, and that every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to fulfilling your purpose. This long-term perspective is key to building sustainable success and fulfillment in your life. Finally, having a clear sense of your why helps you stay resilient in the face of criticism and failure. When you are driven by a purpose that aligns with your values, external judgments become less important. Criticism or rejection no longer has the power to derail you because you are focused on a higher mission. You understand that your journey is bigger than any individual setback or external opinion. This resilience keeps you going, even when the path is uncertain, and it allows you to stay committed to your purpose through the ups and downs of life. Understanding your why transforms your approach to success. It grounds you in a deeper sense of purpose that fuels your passion, drives your actions, and shapes your decisions. It provides clarity in moments of doubt, encourages resilience in the face of challenges, and helps you stay true to your vision. When you understand your why, success becomes more than just an outcome. It becomes a journey aligned with your deepest values, and that is where true fulfillment lies. When you focus on your own well-being, it becomes a foundation for everything else in your life. It is easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily responsibilities, constantly giving to others or working toward external goals, while neglecting the most important person in your life, yourself. True success and happiness stem from a place of inner peace and health, and when you prioritize your well-being, it enhances every aspect of your life, from your relationships to your career to your personal growth. Your well-being isn't just about physical health. It's about nurturing every part of yourself, your mental, emotional, and spiritual health too. Many people often neglect their mental and emotional well-being, thinking that physical health is the only thing that matters. While physical well-being is important, your mental and emotional health have just as much, if not more, influence on your overall life satisfaction. When you are mentally and emotionally healthy, you have the clarity to make decisions, the resilience to face challenges, and the capacity to build and maintain healthy relationships. You are more focused, productive, and motivated when you feel good inside, which is why your well-being should always be at the top of your priorities. Focusing on your well-being involves creating boundaries in your life that protect your energy and peace of mind. In a world where demands and distractions are endless, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. People constantly ask for your time, your energy, and your attention. But if you don't set clear boundaries, you risk burning out and losing sight of what truly matters to you. Setting boundaries means learning to say no when necessary, protecting your time for self-care, and recognizing when you need to rest or recharge. It's not selfish, it's essential for your mental and emotional health. Without these boundaries, you cannot show up as your best self for others or for the goals you want to achieve. Your well-being is the cornerstone that enables you to thrive in every other area of your life. Another key aspect of focusing on your well-being is investing time in self-care. Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the act of intentionally making time for activities that nourish your body, mind, and soul. Self-care comes in many forms, from physical activities like exercise, healthy eating, and rest, to mental practices like meditation, journaling, and seeking support from a therapist or counselor. It could also involve engaging in hobbies that bring you joy or spending time with loved ones who uplift you. The idea is to replenish yourself regularly so that you don't drain your energy trying to meet everyone else's needs. When you care for yourself, you not only improve your health, but also increase your capacity to be present and effective in all areas of life. In addition to self-care, focusing on your well-being means creating a positive environment for yourself. This involves surrounding yourself with people, places, and things that inspire, uplift, and motivate you. The people you spend the most time with greatly influence your energy and mindset. If you are surrounded by negativity or individuals who drain your energy, it will be much harder to maintain your well-being. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with positive influences, whether it's supportive friends, mentors, or uplifting media, you create an environment that encourages your growth and healing. Your surroundings should reflect the kind of person you want to become. And this applies to both your physical environment and the people you interact with regularly. Focusing on your well-being also involves acknowledging and addressing the areas in your life that are causing stress or discomfort. It means being honest with yourself about the parts of your life that need attention, whether it's a relationship that isn't serving you, a career that isn't fulfilling, or an unhealthy habit that is holding you back. Acknowledging these issues and taking steps to address them is a form of self-care. It might require difficult decisions or conversations, but doing so will create space for personal growth and healing. The more you are willing to confront the challenges in your life, the more you create the conditions for true well-being. Your spiritual well-being is another essential aspect to consider. This doesn't necessarily mean adhering to a particular religion. It simply refers to nurturing your inner peace, sense of purpose, and connection to something larger than yourself, whether through prayer, meditation, reflection, or simply spending time in nature. Cultivating spiritual well-being helps you stay grounded and focused on what truly matters. It provides a sense of meaning and perspective that can help you navigate difficult situations with grace and resilience. When your spiritual well-being is in balance, you have a sense of peace that transcends external circumstances and helps you stay centered in the midst of life's challenges. Prioritizing your well-being also sets a powerful example for others. When you take care of yourself, you inspire those around you to do the same. People often learn by example, and when they see you investing in your health, setting boundaries, and practicing self-care, they are more likely to do the same. This creates a ripple effect where others are encouraged to prioritize their own well-being, leading to healthier relationships and communities. By focusing on your well-being, you not only improve your own life, but also contribute to the well-being of those around you. Focusing on your well-being doesn't mean you have to be perfect or always have everything together. It's not about achieving some ideal or living up to a set standard. Instead, it's about being compassionate with yourself and taking small, consistent steps to nurture yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. When you make your well-being a priority, you start to show up as the best version of yourself, not just for others, but for your own happiness and fulfillment. It allows you to face challenges with resilience, approach opportunities with confidence, and enjoy a deep sense of peace and contentment. Ultimately, focusing on your well-being is about creating a life that is aligned with your values, goals, and purpose. It's about recognizing that your health and happiness are foundational to everything else you want to achieve. When you prioritize your well-being, you unlock your full potential and create a life that feels deeply satisfying and meaningful. It's a commitment to nurturing yourself